This is the Global Economic Commodities Scrap Metal and Recycling Report by our BENLEE roll-off trailer and lugger truck, August 10th, 2020. U.S. weekly steel production rose to 1.328 million tons as the U.S. economy slowly reopens. Oil price rose to $41.11 a barrel on slow global growth and on U.S. OPEC supply cuts to get prices up. The U.S. oil rig count fell to 176, a decade-plus low, down a shocking 89% from the 2014 high, as low prices and the U.S. OPEC deal to cut production remains in place. U.S. weekly oil production fell to 11.0 million barrels per day, near a two-year low on the U.S. OPEC production cut agreement and on low prices. Scrap steel #1 heavy melt export buying price Philly rose to $205 a gross ton as the low dollar and foreign economic growth is fueling export demand. Scrap steel #1 heavy melt price rose to about $213 a gross ton as a weak dollar boosted exports and on slow U.S. demand growth. Hot rolled coil steel rose to $22.89 per hundredweight as it remains near a multi-year low on the slow U.S. economic growth. Copper fell to $2.79 per pound on strong China growth but slow global growth in demand. Aluminum rose to 78.7 cents a pound, a multi-month high excluding spikes, as the U.S. imposed a 10% tariff on Canadian aluminum imports and on slow global growth. Gold price rose to $2,035 an ounce after hitting a record $2,075 on low U.S. interest rates, inflation fears as the U.S. government engages in record spending and running record deficits. July's Global Economic Index rose to 50.8 from June's 47.7. With over 50 being expansion, the global economy has begun to grow again. June's U.S. balance of trade improved to a negative $50.7 billion, which was better than May's 18-month low. The trend, though, continues to be worse. August's U.S. Economic Optimism Index rose to 46.8, but since under 50, it marked the fifth straight month of outright pessimism. August was lower than May and June at 49.7 and 47 due to COVID resurgence concerns. July's U.S. jobs report rose to 1.76 million, a great and huge number, but there are still about 12.9 million less jobs in the U.S. versus February, just 5 months ago. July's U.S. unemployment rate fell to 10.2%, a nice drop, but still higher than the 2009 10% high. July's U.S. manufacturing index rose to 54.2, the highest since March 2019, which is great, but note the trend has been down since mid-2018. July new orders rose, but employment was down. U.S. weekly initial unemployment claims dropped to 1.186 million people, which was the least since COVID hit the economy. Weekly claims were 200,000 to 250,000 per week for years pre-February. This is clearly an improvement, but still horrific. The U.S. 30-year mortgage rate fell to 2.88%, a new record low. U.S. homeowners should consider refinancing their homes to save money. Wall Street's Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 963 points to 27,433 as added federal stimulus remains in flux and trade tensions with China escalate. As always, feel free to call or email me with any questions. We hope all have a safe and profitable week.